What's going on, YouTube? Time to get back to it. Sorry for delaying the videos. Thanks for bearing with us. But long story short, I wanted to get into it. I am potentially, for now, cancer-free. So I've been doing a lot of recouping, a lot of resting, and it's only been about a month and some change post major surgery. So we're just getting back into it. So thanks for bearing with us. Let's get into a little bit of a recap today. Monster day. Pretty amazing. Let's get over some of the opportune moves we had seen here. Now, in the Discord this morning, bright and early, we're talking pre 4 a.m. Central here. We had some big run-ups, and I was highlighting that we had algos all the way up as high as 20,626. But after filling this algo, we're going to come up, most likely find resistance, come down for a 100 EMA back test, right? We'll get into that. Here's the full breakdown. 15, 30, 10 SMA back test looking for short here. Potential scalp down, 424 in the morning. Average was 45. And order out was 470. So we had a nice little $3,000 win here. 10 on the rollover on the fundeds. And then we hit a little bit of that target, updating everybody. And as I called, 15-minute 10 SMA back test off the short call as it needed a back test because it was running away from price action. So let's go over how we deciphered that and a couple of the other calls we made today in live. So as we moved into the over under now, 15-minute is what we're sitting on right now, NQ. And here is the interaction and what we're talking about right here, this pullback. Well, how did we know we're going to go short here? Well, we didn't know, but we had a really good idea. See this Fibonacci here on the back side? Here's your fib box range, 20,478 to 20,358, okay? This was a huge data piece for us on the 5-minute high-low chart. Well, that happens to come in right here at 20,478.53. And I noticed it had a shy right here last time. It had the full breakup, right? So the 15-minute chart broke out of the 100 EMA right here in the green. And this was a back test moving average that we were going to see later. This is why I called the short out of the gate, and I'll explain why. The Twitter, or from the Twitter call, because we're going to come back down to that 100 EMA, right? So how did we get that back test? Well, this pushed over and needed a confirmation. So we shied that Fibonacci level right here, came down, held the 200 SMA, right? No tag on the 666, ran away. I'm like, okay, it'll hit fresh highs, go over the fib. Well, it came over the fib, right? Pushed almost into that +2, and I'm like, this is it. We have a fresh high push. We need to pull back at that 10 SMA before we're going to go higher on the 15 because it's just its turn, right? So on the 5-minute, a little bit faster of a time frame, you're going to see that 10 SMA loop and push has already happened, right? Because it's waiting for the 15-minute to catch up. So this is a very similar variant. When something runs away in the 5-minute, finds resistance, it's got to come back down to the 10 SMA in the blue and loop it and continue the push. That's trend, right? And a lot of the times this happens in pre-market when they force up the market and we have a monster gap up. Well, today didn't work out so hot and we're going to go over why, especially for that gap up and how we called that backside short, right? So if you do follow us over on X, right? Posted a snippet from the Discord, waiting till really close to open for short to appear would be the scam normal here. And then it scammed up. Very normal, boom, boom. That was coming into this short realization of about 4,400 this morning because of the dump, right? So, well, how did we know it was going to dump and how did we know it was going to come back? Well, despite the pullback that we got here for the scalp, right, down to the 10 SMA, we needed that confirmation. Then it went parabolic up, hit another one of my old levels. Now, this was an algo level that it hit to the T that I didn't post out here, but that one was here. And now here's the opening wash. Now, we already discussed that moving average back tests are really good confirmation magnets. So when we had price action on the 5-minute chart, blow through the VWAP, blow through the 200, blow through the 666, 200 and then 10 SMA daily, that's right here, this giant guy right here, 10 SMA daily, 20,350. We needed a comeback down. All these moving averages that blew through and it just squeezed and ran away, caught the 10 SMA and just rode the 10 SMA all the way up. Okay, no big deal. It needs a confirmational back test. So when it opened up, the market washed out. And what did it give us? Well, a back test of all those levels it snapped over. The 200 SMA, the 100 EMA, and the VWAP were all in question. But how did we know it was going to dump? Well, it's a very unique daily pattern that we had here on the QQQ that I told my group about this morning, which was going to help us with this big short watch. Now, we had a couple different algos, and we had some data here, and these were all perfect. We're going to delete the small data. And as the pullback happened, I'll show you on the daily chart and why this was so important and how we decided it was going to gap down. Now, the QQQ is where this ran specific. Okay, this is the daily chart. And yesterday we held that 10 SMA after a huge sell day. So we have fibbed out the high low of the 10-15 sell day. This came down, as you noticed, to the 10 SMA daily, right? And then yesterday broke through, had to do a fresh low because the market loves to break fresh lows and then scam up. And then it was pushed overnight into a gap. Now notice the close yesterday here on the hammer. The open was a massive gap in between, right? But here's the kicker. This engulfing right here candle, fib box, we never tagged the golden pocket. You know how aggressive I am with golden pocket no tags, right? So this is the golden pocket. In between the Fibonacci points where you draw the high-low, you have between the 61.8 and the 38.20. I call this the golden pocket. Now notice yesterday, we held the 0%, the bottom fib, right, the low, and it rallied back up and closed into this hammer. Now, we didn't tag the golden pocket. Notice price action missed right there, right? So the gap up way up here also no tag, right? We gapped over everything. But the kicker of the engulfing candle is I have never once in my life, which it might be out there somewhere, but a gap up like this and go leaving a gap inside an engulfing, I don't remember ever happening, ever. Ever. They hold yesterday's close. They can fill up the golden pocket, but leaving a golden pocket wide open from yesterday and then gapping here, for us, that was a huge indication that we had to come back down and test the golden pocket before anything happens, right? It's about confirmation. So we do have the implied move saying, hey, I'm going to sell back down. Doesn't matter if it's bearish, bullish, whatever it happens to be. And in this case, it's still bullish on the metric that we could hold this red candle. But for the opening day, it doesn't make any sense to have a gap and go inside engulfing where we were going to push past the standard deviation weekly, daily centers right here and just start blowing off the top at 498 and gone with the wind, right? It made no sense. So what we did is we assumed a pullback. And again, we talked about why on the 15-minute chart, the 5-minute chart, the moving averages that needed back test, right? Let's look at the oscillation indicators on our 15-minute here, because the 15 and 5 are generally the favorites, right? There we go. So our oscillation indicator is also showing us a little bit of that divergence, and we just needed to wait till the opening algos to hit. Now, that was the swap right there. Notice RSIs were getting low, and clearly the MACD was rolling since about 6 a.m. Central on the algo. But just because they start rolling, these are lagging indicators, which means they can show you something ahead of time and the price action can lag or vice versa. So it was telling you that we were ready for a pullback around 6, 7 a.m., but it never happened until close to that open, which we called in Discord. So with that being said, we needed the magnet down and slammed, boom, right into the golden pocket and bounced. So we had two really good shorts. And then we also called the bounce back rally here on SPY. And this was another golden trade of ours down to its golden pocket. So the exact same scenario persists here on the SPY. Where are my drawings on this guy? Oh no, we buried him. Okay, we'll make another one. No big deal. So very similar situation here. There's the giant engulfing 10-15 October candle. 2 days. Coming in hot. Okay, so look at this confirmation. We started again in a monster gap up. This one wasn't quite as engulfed like we said in the QQQ, so it wasn't as guaranteed, but QQQ can drag down SPY and they can have convergence. So we called the later SPY short for a 3 down, we call it. So implied impulse move down 1, 2, 3. And things usually on trend come in 3s in the market. We like to use that on the 1 and 5 minute for scalping. So we had a 3 down here, then it rallied all the way back up, which we also called, and from the bottom. So I guaranteed everybody it would hit 582.50 today on the short side, no matter what, despite what is going to happen later on in the day. If it happens early or late, we guaranteed that we were going to hit 582.50 before I hopped off screen. Now, With that being said, we had the hit right here to the penny, snapped back, and this is something that we talked about once the target was hit, because we already were exhausted, right? We exhausted the MACD all the way down. We exhausted the RSI all the way down. We're in the bottom channel. It's got a triple bottom, and the MACD has now swapped close to 10 to 1030 here. Euro close comes. Euro close got a little bit of a pop, and it came just right back to the 1015 high, right? So 1015 is a leading algorithm that's going to hit for these guys, and it's going to be constant resistance. You notice that pattern of confirmation. Price action open, dumped on call. Hit, bounces back for confirmation of weakness. Down, lower low, new trend. Pops back up. We also called this one to VWAP short, all the way down to 61.8, which is the golden pocket, no tag. We have now held this in a perfect double bottom, and it's just kind of messed around for the end of the day. Well, what does that leave us with? Well, we had two really good short calls there on SPY as well because of just one daily Fibonacci and intraday VWAP. That is it. And if we look at the daily chart here, again, this wasn't as clean as the Qs because we didn't start in a gap and go. We started into a gap into all-time highs. But again, that beautiful Q setup where we have a gap through engulfing just does not happen. It does not have gap and goes. So again, we called this all the way down to gap fill plus some golden pocket. Again, fib box of 1015 high low. This is the golden pocket between 61.8, 38.20. As you see, we opened up, came back down, dipped right into that golden pocket. Now we're looking for confirmation of what's to come. Well, two things can happen. We're going to hold this golden pocket, right? Yeah, we're going to climb, or we're going to stay under that golden pocket, and we're going to come back down to the bottom of this candle, filling it up all the way down where there is zero price action on the bottom. And what I mean by that is the lows of 1015, the next candle 1016 never hit lows. So when we draw Fibonacci points like this on a high low, we assume that they can fill the bottom of the top where you drew them, the 100% and the 0%, right? If you notice that 16th, obviously the day after the 15th, we missed that right there. So when we have a gap up, we have now hit the top 584.89. We've hit this, right? That is a clear hit. Came down and filled this gap. Now, do we stay under the golden pocket and move to a hit right here? Or do we hold above the golden pocket, break out over 584.89, and continue into FOMO all-time highs? Well, that's up for the market to decide. This is our over-under level. So what I would say is I would watch confirmations over-under this level, and we're going to watch the golden pocket tomorrow because, again, we only have the top of the golden pocket tag. We have left out 581.73 and lower channel 580.98. So these channels right here on the bottom side of the golden pocket have never been hit. Algorithms generally don't like to leave those open that much. So we do have a couple opportunities. We're coming into power hour right now, about 15 minutes. This thing either liquid dumps and flash fills down to some of those points of interest that we just discussed in the golden pocket, or we hold above and we wait for confirmation because it's either going to go above the 100 and continue the breakout, or we're going to stay under it. And tomorrow we'll be somewhere down in the golden pocket, 581 area for SPY. So let's watch that confirmation and that setup. Yeah, so if you want to get back to it, we still stream live every single day. I'm back to it. If you want to join us, we have a private Discord, private stream. We do it live every single morning, and we call out this with a ton of talented people. And yeah, we had a day, man. We had an absolute monstrous day. We had some perfect calls, a lot of great greens from members. We always update our P&Ls, entries, exits, all the other good stuff. And man, do we have a good time. So with that being said, if you want to join us, the links are all in the description. If you want to trade with funded accounts like we do through Top Step or Apex, those links are in the description. If you want to come join the Discord and trade with us live every morning at 8 a.m. Central, we will be on Monday through Friday as long as the market's open. If that sounds good, we'll see you in chat. If not, we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for tuning in.